Hey everybody, welcome back to Fox's Best Laid Plans. This is Fox. This is my channel. Hi. We missed a week last week, as you may have noticed. And the last week you saw was this. August 9th through August 15th. And things were like okay, and then things went downhill really fast. I can't remember right now if I mentioned that my dad was not doing terrifically well, and last week it got really bad. And so I didn't end up planning last week. We've been staying with my parents at their house for almost 2 weeks now. And my dad passed away on Sunday. So what I chose to do with my planner, I didn't actually fill it out during the week. I filled it out Tuesday. So just jumping ahead briefly, I'm going to be planning this week today. Monday, August 23rd through Sunday, August 29th. It is already Thursday, August 26th. This is the first time I've had to sit down by myself. And you may notice it's a different situation. If there's a lot of ambient background noise, I apologize. The best place for me to do this at my parents' house is to sit on the back deck, which is where I'm sitting right now, but there is somebody mowing a lawn. There are a lot of crickets. We could get some cicadas. My mom went out to the store. She might be coming home any minute, interrupting this, which is, I don't mean that in a mean way, just, yeah. So we'll see. But anyway, so what I did for this week was I didn't do any stickers or any layout. We kind of knew by Monday that things were not good, but we didn't know when or how or what we had left. There are some cicadas starting. I apologize. They're noisy motherfuckers, and the trees sound like they're screaming all summer. When you were in the Northeast, that's our life. Anyway, so what I did was I just did marker and kind of got a little bit less, I don't know, it kind of faded out at the end. I don't know if I like how I did this or what, but I just wanted this week to stand out. I mean, it obviously stood out because it was the worst fucking week of my life, but that's how I did it. I just used like old Crayola markers that my mom found in a drawer, and that's what I did for last week. So, it was a rough week. It was really rough. I haven't fully talked about, like, I'm going to film in, like, a wrap-up of how the week went. I've been filming every day for my vlog, like, little, like, updates on Dad and what we're doing and how he's doing and everything like that. I never actually filmed the one where I explained that he passed, and so I still have to do that. My grief is up and down, as grief tends to be. So we're gonna try to get through this the best that we can. So I'm using this kit that I couldn't print my stuff because I don't have my silhouette here. I do have like some supplies with me, but I don't have my silhouette to cut, and I do have my laptop. I have some of my scrapbooking stuff, and I do have my photo printer, but so I had this kit that I bought, and I just like, it's so cute, and I didn't want to just like use it as a throwaway week so much, and this is not a throwaway week, but you know what I mean, like, it's already Thursday, I'm feeling like kind of really down, but it's so cute. It's Chic Blossom Prints. It's the coffee kit from them, and yeah, it's really cute. So we'll go with this. We'll try to go with this. Okay, so I got this. I have this table's a little bit shaky too, so shaky. I'm very concerned that you can see my legs under the table, so I do apologize for that. I'm going to try to not have visible leg under the table. So I have two different washi tapes to use. Let's start with this. So some of you only watch the plan with me, some of you only watch the vlog, some of you watch both. So if you watch both, you're going to get duplicate information today that you're going to get in the vlog eventually. My dad came home on, every time a car goes by I'm going to be like, is that my mom? Do I need to help her carry groceries in? My dad came home on Sunday, the 15th. We honestly didn't know if he was going to come home or not. He was just in a bad shape. So If you're new here, hi, welcome. This is going to be a sad episode. But sometimes it's sad anyway because I talk a lot about mental health and grief. Those are my special topics. I like to talk about depression and anxiety. And I do like to talk about grief, strange as that is. I have 2 sets of... Yeah, there's 2 sets of date covers in here. That's kind of nice, even option. So, I think I'm going to use this too. Okay. So, I that's part of my whole thing is I like to talk openly about mental health issues, especially depression and anxiety, because those are my roommates. You may have different roommates, but your roommates are welcome to come along as well. So, my dad was diagnosed almost exactly a year ago with small cell lung cancer. If you're not familiar with small cell lung cancer, it is probably one of the, if not the worst cancer you can get. Go hard or go home, right? That was my dad. So he was diagnosed about a year ago with extensive. So up until recently, small cell, they did not stage it the same way that they stage other cancers. They would just stage it as limited, which means it was lung and maybe a lymph node or 2, or extensive, which means it had spread somewhere else in the body. And the thing with small cell is that it's very aggressive, does not always show up in predictable ways. And so in my dad's situation, he did not actually have any lung symptoms at all. He was diagnosed a year ago, almost a year ago to the day. August 20th was when we got the official... I guess we knew on August 20th, we officially knew that it was cancer, but it wasn't until the next week that they actually got the typing and everything in the biopsy, and it found out it was small cell. But they had an idea based on how it was presenting, so we kind of knew. But small cell is almost always identified whenever it's extensive already, because it moves so quickly. And it doesn't give symptoms. So, like, my dad never had any lung symptoms. I mean, up to the day he died, he didn't have any trouble breathing, shortness of breath. He wasn't on oxygen, didn't have a cough. He started having a cough in, like, his final days, but it was not related to the cancer. It was related to end of life. As your body is starting to shut down in your final days, you can start to aspirate and have a difficult time with liquids, and so he was having some of that in the end, but that was not really like related to the lung tumor. So he was diagnosed because it had spread to his liver. So basically he was in liver failure when he was diagnosed, and we didn't think he was going to make it, like, I mean, I didn't think he was going to make it a month, let alone to make it a whole year. So in that regard, we are just like so fucking lucky, and I am so fucking grateful. I just, if you had gone back to 2020 Fox and said, hey girl, you get a whole year with your dad, I would have been like, shut the front door. Really? I do? Like, I would have been, you know, Tree, you could stop screaming. Really? The cicada. Okay. Thank you. If you had gone back to 2020 Fox and told her that we would get a whole year with my dad, I would have been like ecstatic beyond belief, because I didn't think we were going to get my birthday. I didn't think we were going to get Christmas. I thought this was going to be over quickly. This cicada is screaming, so I'm going to... he's screaming off and on. Okay. So anyway, the fact that we got a year was amazing. And he did really, really well up until the last month. And that's when it started to get bad. And basically the sad thing of it is like, in the end, the primary tumor in his lung and the tumors in his liver were like stable, well controlled, shrinking, everything was looking good. The two things that were not good were his body had basically stopped making red blood cells and platelets. His bone marrow was just like depleted in that regard from the treatments, from the culmination of like basically a whole year of chemo, two different kinds of chemos, but basically a whole year of it, and also some radiation. He had like 5 days of radiation to his hip, and that just kind of knocked it out completely. So he wasn't making platelets or red blood cells anymore. So he got like a number of transfusions, but they just wouldn't stick. Like his body was just like, no, not doing it. But the biggest problem was that he had brain mets. So small cell lung cancer loves to go to the liver, it loves to go to the bones, and it loves to go to the brain. In previous times, they used to do what they call preventative brain radiation. And what that would be a whole brain radiation before you even knew that you had tumors. So it's not actually preventative. It doesn't actually prevent tumors from coming on. But with small cell, the tumors, the cancer cells are so small, hence the name, it's not just a clever name. The tumor cells are so small that they could be hiding and not show up on an MRI. So the idea being this preventative brain radiation is like, if the cells are already in there, you might not be able to see them, but the radiation will take them out. Well, it has a lot of really bad side effects. And so the conventional wisdom now has moved away from that, and they don't do whole brain radiation generally, unless it's like an older doctor. Sometimes they will. My dad had some tumors back in October, and they were able to treat him with targeted radiation. Same thing. He had 2 other times, January and I want to say April. And all those times they were able to treat with targeted radiation. It was not a big deal. He had like 0 side effects from that. However, in the last like 6 weeks or month, he developed his first symptomatic brain lesion, and it prevented him from walking or standing. So they gave him some steroids. That helped for a little while. He bounced back. Then it started to get worse again. He went on a rehab unit at the hospital, did really well with that. It was a lot. And the thing with a brain tumor is that it can present very much like the same way that Alzheimer's presents. So at the end, Dad was having like confusion, bad dreams, like he would be sitting at the dining room table and he'd say, wow, this hotel looks a lot like our house. Or like the one night he said, wow, we have these same chairs at our house. And Mom was like, well, we're in our house. And he's like, we're not at the hotel? And that was okay, but then he was having some like bad dreams, like where he thought someone had forcibly made him join the Navy, and then his ship was captured. I mean, just like very disorienting and scary things. And in the end, the brain tumors were really what brought about the end, because he got to this point where he was so restless and agitated from the tumors that he couldn't sleep, but also couldn't be up and functioning because he was just like fidgeting and, you know, tossing and turning and confused and not able to talk, and it was just a whole bunch of fucking bullshit, and I do not recommend. But it was very hard to watch and to see my dad, who was so sharp and funny all the time and so genuine and caring and just like an amazing human all around. It was so hard to watch him get worse and get sick and not be able to talk and not be able to make jokes, and you know, he would come in spurts and flashes, and we would see a little bit of his normal self, and then he would not be that way, and it was a hard week. But I am so infinitely grateful that we were able to have him home for this, that he was able to be home on hospice, that he was able to be taken care of by family and excellent nurses. Hospice nurses are fucking angels on this earth. Like, if you've never had to interact with hospice nurses, that's great, and I'm super glad that you never had to, because it's hard, but they are amazing humans. Okay, so obviously I'm backfilling all of these days here since they've already happened, but y'all, I'm just tired, and I feel like I'm holding up okay, but I'm tired. I really am. Wish these had a work thing, but they don't. Okay, so let's put in, oh, I do have a work. I hope this cicada is not too horrible. I only worked 1 day this week because I was on bereavement leave, so that's, at least that was like, they gave me I got 4 days off for bereavement leave, which was really good because basically Thursday night they thought he might not make it to Friday, so I called my boss and he's like, well, don't worry about coming in the weekend. And then my scheduler was like, I got you covered until Tuesday or until Wednesday, and I was like, oh, thank you. And then he ended up surviving until Sunday, and Sunday was the full moon. And my mom and I, like, fully believe that was part of it. Like, he held out until the full moon. Because we both love the full moon. There's, like, my mom and I have a thing about the full moon. Well, first of all, she's always loved the moon. Like, always. And then, when I was born, I was 17 days late so that I could be born on the full moon. So, we have, like, a running joke about that. So, when we realized it was a blue moon as well. So, there's 2 kinds of blue moons. And the one is the one we know about all the time, which is where you have 2 full moons in a calendar month. That's the first kind of blue moon. But the second kind of blue moon, oh my god, do you hear all these horrible sounds? Is anybody even going to watch this video because it's so fucking loud with nature and lawn mowing? The second kind of full moon, which I did not know this, is when you have 4 full moons in a season. So normally there's 4 seasons. Each season has 3 full moons. But because there are 13 moons in a year, so this was the 4th full moon of the summer season. And so that was considered to be a blue moon. So my dad passed on the full blue moon, August 22nd, 2021. And it was so sad. And I'm doing so much better with my grief than I thought I would be, and I think part of it is because I have been grieving for a fucking year already. Like, what else did we do? Let me put my food in here. I've been grieving since the moment we found out he had cancer, you know? And so, like, right now it's like, okay, this is how I just exist now. I've been grieving for so long that I'm in it to win it. Like, okay, what are we gonna do for fitness? These all look so big. Let's do, okay, we'll alternate. So we'll do this. I feel like I am in my grief to win my grief. I am, like, existing in this place where I'm grieving, and so, like, right now, the emotion that I felt the most in the first few days after my dad died was this, like, relief that he wasn't suffering anymore. And I know everybody says that, like, oh, they're at peace and they're not suffering anymore. When you're watching somebody with brain mets just, like, deteriorating like that, it's the truth. It is so true. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to... Am I explaining this well? It was so hard to see him suffering like that. We did a toast. My mom loves margaritas, and we had, like, brought over stuff to make margaritas when we first moved in here 2 weeks ago, and she was like, I just don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to drink anything. It's going to make me sad. And Monday night, she was like, can I have that margarita? And we were like, absolutely. She was like, can we toast to Dad when we have the margarita? I was like, oh, Mom, sure. So, it was a nice night. We got Sir Pizza. So I'm just writing you what we did on Monday. So we had to go to the funeral home. So the funeral director, we're not doing a funeral. Dad didn't want a funeral. We're not doing an obituary publicly or anything like that. So eventually, if we ever get out of this pandemic, we would love to do like a celebration of life, like rent out not a cabin in the woods, rent out like a pavilion in the woods or something like that, and have like his favorite food. He loved, his favorite alcoholic beverage was Miller Lite because he's a dad and that's what dads like. And is that everything we did? Yeah. Oh, we watched John Oliver. We would love to do that, but we want to wait until like maybe next summer, maybe like for the 1-year anniversary. So we're not actually doing a funeral or anything like that, but we did, you know, that someone has to process the body. So my dad wanted to be cremated. So my dad actually went to school with someone who became a funeral director. So he knew him from high school, and they were friends, and they had gone to see each other over the years at the reunions every year. So that's who we chose to use for, who came and picked up his body, and they were helping us with like the final arrangements and all of that. So Dad's gonna be cremated, and then we had to go to the funeral home so we could pick out an urn, and it ended up being like, I thought we'd be there for a little while. We were there for like 2 hours because Bill, the funeral director, who is my dad's age, they graduated together, he was telling stories and we were telling stories, and we were just talking because he knew Dad, and it was like, that was very nice. It was like a little memorial in that way too. So the funeral home is like out past where we live, so then we stopped at our house on the way back. We got Arby's for lunch, stopped at our house to pick up a few more supplies since we knew we'd be staying for about another week. Then my mom wanted to go to, so Homewood Cemetery is a cemetery that I'm in all the time that you all see on the vlogs that I'm always posting videos from. And they didn't know, so my dad was being cremated, so we're going to scatter some of his ashes, but the remaining ashes, we just have an urn that we're going to keep at the house. My mom wants a headstone, and she wants to be buried, so what they're going to do is, someday when she dies, hopefully 40 years from now, when she dies, then they'll bury the rest of the ashes with him, and they'll have both of their names on the headstone. But it'll be a plot for only one casket. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea, and thought that was very fitting, because then, like, I don't know, Dad gets his, to be with his one true love, and also to be scattered in his favorite places. So that's a pretty fair balance there. I like that. So my mom had never been to home. They didn't know where to go. They don't have a church. They didn't have anything here. And so I was like, well, hopefully it's not going to be for ages, but go to Homewood Cemetery, because if you want me to visit you, I'm there like twice a week. Even more in November. I'm there like 5 days a week in November. So she'd never been there, so we went and drove through it, and she was like, oh my God, you were right. This is like a wonderful place. And it is. It's like, when you think of cemeteries as green spaces that you can go to and like, picnic and exercise and, visit people that you've never met before and read their stones and keep their memory alive and that kind of thing. Homewood is like top notch, and it's quiet, it's nice. So my mom was like, oh, you're right. I've been telling you about this for 10 fucking years, that Homewood Cemetery is the tits. And she didn't believe me, but now she believes me. So we went there, we stopped at Target, and then we got served pizza for dinner, and then I ran 2 miles. I'm back on my running program, so that's good. And we went to the nature center, so my mom went for a walk, and then I ran, and then I walked the last quarter mile with her, and then we came home and watched John Oliver. And then husband made margaritas, and we did a toast to Dad, so that was nice. So then Tuesday, let's see, I did another run. It has just been bad weather, and that's one thing that I did feel bad about was, okay, so we did, big was food and little was workout. So this one we're going to do, big is workout and little is food. I'm not putting these down straight, and it just drives me fucking bonkers. Okay. This is my big one. I did 4 miles. Boy, that's simply R. I'm shadowing so that way it doesn't look quite as nasty. There we go. So that's what we did that day. Then Tuesday, it's been balls hot, and that one thing that I do feel bad about is that my dad loved to sit outside, and we couldn't get him outside because there was a step to get out of the house, and he was in a wheelchair and couldn't stand on his own. So, and I was like, well, we'll just keep the windows open at night, but it was way too hot to do that. So at least his hospital bed that we set up was right looking out the window, so he could see his garden from the hospital bed. So that was nice. I felt good about that. But I just wish it had been better weather, and we could have left the windows open at night so he could have heard the sounds. And the day, was the day after? No, it was Wednesday. After he died that Wednesday, my dad loved to sit on the front porch whenever it would rain. And so he passed on Sunday. Yesterday on Wednesday, there was this beautiful, heavy, gorgeous rain where the sun is shining on one side of the lawn, and the other side of the lawn is this downpour. And yeah, it was very nice. So, let me see. Tuesday, what did we have for dinner? Oh, we had shrimp pasta. Husband made his homemade pasta sauce, and then we had shrimp and vegetables and asparagus on the side. It was really, really good. So let's see, what other things did we do that day? Sat on the porch. I thought this was going to be a fast plan with me because I'm like not knowing what to talk about, but it's turning out to be very long because I'm just like pausing a lot. Okay, sat on the porch. And I did work on editing a vlog on a run. It was so hot. We went to oh my god, we went to Sam's Club. That's got to get its own little sticker because that was like, I've never been to Sam's Club before. And it was a shock to the system. Have you ever been to Sam's Club? If you haven't, it's very overwhelming because there's so much stuff that you want to buy. And you're like, I don't need that, but I sure as heck want it. So, yeah, that's the thing. These stickers are not glossy, but they're almost glossy. So it's kind of hard. I swear to you, I just saw my mom take my water bottle. I swear I saw it. It's kind of hard to use these pens because these are like almost glossy and they're not working really well. Anyway, Sam's Club was very overwhelming. I wanted to buy a whole bunch of shit. Tried to limit myself. Didn't do a very good job of limiting myself. And now I have a couple bags of giant potato chip. No, a couple giant bags of potato chips. The potato chips are normal size, but the bag is giant, not giant potato chip. Anyway, you know what I mean. Okay, I did my planner that day. Oh, I don't have scissors out here. Instead I could use this sticker. Aw, man. We gonna do something stupid. Because I don't have scissors, and why? That worked. That actually worked. Tuesday was the day that I did this Crayola spread. Okay, Wednesday I was supposed to run, and I didn't run because it started pouring, as I said. So let's put a sticker on there for rain. Let's do this for dinner. Oh, let's do something for dinner. Just bear with me here while I'm struggling with my life, because that's what I'm doing. We had taco night last night. My mom has never had taco night, I guess, because my dad never liked Mexican food, and so we went to Sam's Club and we found this, like, they have a little taco kit. Here's a picture of what the taco kit looks like. Pretty cool, right? So she'd never had that, like where you like build your own tacos, you know? And so I was like, oh, we have to do that, because, you know, that anybody who's been here for the last year knows that's how husband and I got through the pandemic, was having taco night, build your own taco bar once a week. So we did that, and she was like, oh my god, this is so good. And I was like, yeah, Mom, it's the best. And we do that once a week because it's baller. So it rained a lot. So there's the rain. Yay. Alright, what else did I do? I did a Richard Simmons tape, was my workout. Because it rained. We were supposed to run with my girlfriends, and I was like so excited because I haven't been there for like ever on a Wednesday. And then it started pouring like right within the hour we were supposed to meet. I'm like, what the fuck? Do not recommend. So let's do here for taco night. As you can see, this pen is like fighting with me here. Whoa. Whoa, that says taco height. Oh my god. What have I done here? Oh my god. Failing. Yeah, it's just really, I hope I'm not ruining this pen by this absolute ridiculousness that I'm doing here. Because it does not want to work on this. I haven't been using my little stickers, but I have my little Flora sticker that once I get back to the house I can put it in there. Okay, taco night, and then that was last night, right? So we started watching Reservation Dogs. If you haven't watched that yet, highly recommend it. I'll put this in here. It's on Hulu, and it's about some teenagers Native American teenagers living on the reservation in Oklahoma. We started watching it last night. We watched the first episode and it was really good. Okay, today I had an orthodontist appointment and then I ran. So we are on fitness is the big one. Okay. Orthodontist appointment today was easy breezy. It was just getting fitted for my retainer and I don't have to come back for another 6 months. They just want to check and make sure the retainer is doing its job. So that's good. Other than that, I have been trying to get my shit in order. Okay, so then we got Big Fitness. So I ran on this new trail today. It is like I've randomly driven past a bunch of times on my way to my orthodontist. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking try it today. And I did, and it was nice. It connects to the Rachel Carson Trail. So Rachel Carson Trail is like one of the baddest beasts. It's a 3-mile run in the Pittsburgh area. And it's got a 35-mile trail hike and run day on the solstice, the summer solstice every year. So your girl has her alarm set because, as we all discussed, how will my grief manifest? Ridiculous acts of fitness and running. So your girl already has it set. I am fully prepared that I am going to sign up. It's March 1st, I think, is whenever the sign up happens. And I'm gonna be on it. So it's actually run on the solstice, but I'll sign up for it. I have my timer set because it's one of those things that could sell out, so I want to make sure that I do it. But yeah, I'm doing the Rachel Carson challenge. You heard it here first. I'm fucking doing it next year. Oh yeah, right. So that's my first ultra sign up. I know I was joking and I was like, no, remember everybody, don't let Fox go to ultrasignup.com after her dad dies. And you know what? I didn't even have to because I just set an alarm and I will go to ultrasignup.com later. See how I did that? Okay, dinner tonight is exciting. We're going to dinner with our friend Linda and Erica and her husband, Oleg. And we're going to a tequila dinner, which is going to be super duper. It's at this fancy restaurant. Okay, so you want to hear like how your brain makes an association with the thing, right? So it's at this place called the High Hold, which is like actually kind of close to where my parents live. So I haven't been there since college, and the reason I was there in college is because my boyfriend at the time, he was a drummer, and he was playing a gig there, and so we got to go. And so we were talking about this place. It's 6:30 tonight. And I was like, yeah, it's that place that's like the fancy restaurant where the gay cabaret happens. And my mom was like, the what? She's like, I don't think that's what it is. Well, I don't know if it is. So we're going to see tonight. We're going to figure out. Is it a restaurant that just when you walk in the door, it says, there's going to be a gay cabaret tonight? Or is that just my memory of it because the event that I went to there was a gay cabaret? That's what we're going to find out tonight. It's a research study. Okay, moving on. Everybody was like, we don't think that's what it is. And I was like, no, listen, they did songs from musicals, they did Liza Minnelli, and they're like, I think that was just the night that you were there. So, we shall see. Okay, tomorrow I think I have some errands to do during the day. Layla has a vet appointment, and then tomorrow night is Dave Matthews Band, and I'm so excited. And yeah, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna put anything in the morning because I do have some errands to do. Well, you know what? I will just put one of these down. I was gonna not do this, and I was gonna just fill it in tomorrow as it goes, but I am gonna put one of these up here. And I'll just put Layla's vet appointment on here. So she has a vet appointment, and then we are going to the Dave concert with our friends, and we're driving separately because everybody has to like work. Well, I don't. This is my weekend off, but everybody has to come out after work, so I'm going to drop the tickets off. So let's do vet appointment, 12:30 p.m. I have to get a poo-poo sample, and Layla said, there's a variety for you to choose from. And then I said, we have to get it fresh tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Drop off tickets. And then, so I have other things on here that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to make a return at Kohl's, and I need to go to Sephora before our trip. So I'm not going to put that in there because I don't know if I'm going to have the motivation or the time to do it. But you know what I am going to have the motivation and the time for tomorrow night, St. Matthew's Band. And I'm super like happy because we got, normally we like to get pavilion seats because we old farts and we don't want to deal with the nonsense that happens on the lawn. But my friend's wife who is coming with us, she was like, I really don't want to be, this is before the pandemic even started, she was just like, I just don't want to be in the close quarters. Is it okay if we get lawn seats and we'll just sit, like we did this one other time, sat like way in the back. You can't like see the stage terrifically, but you can hear it perfectly well, and then you have a lot of dancing real estate, and so that's what we ended up doing, was getting those tickets, and I'm so glad now that there's a global pandemic that we will not be anywhere near any other humans. So that's the good news. I guess I'll just put this weekend sticker down here. So I'm back to my regular work rotation, which, when I hear the crazy thing, I only worked, because between my surgery and my dad passing away, I only worked 4 days in August. Isn't that absolutely crazy? It just seems like, how did this month go by so fucking quickly? But here we are. So I just put the weekend sticker there. And then I'll be back to my normal rotation starting next week, which is good. I thought I had I guess I don't. Oh yeah, right in front of my face here. I'm gonna put my blood pressures over here. I haven't been very diligent about taking my blood pressure, or no, taking my blood pressure. I've been taking my medicine every day, but I haven't been good about actually taking the blood pressure and checking it. So, okay, so I'm gonna probably run on Saturday and Sunday. I think our goal right now is we're gonna keep staying here with my mom until, I wanted to go back Monday because we are actually going on vacation. We had this trip planned and then we were up in the air, like what was gonna happen. And the end result is that, as everybody knows, one of my ways that I cope with grief is to run away. So we are going to go on vacation. So our vacation will be, we leave September 9th. So I have this whole week, the rest of this week, this whole week, and the beginning of this week. But I start my work rotation on September 1st. And so I work straight through, except for Sunday, through the 8th before we leave. So like I have so much to do. So that's why I told my mom, like, we'll stay there through the weekend, and then Monday and Tuesday I just need to get my house in order because my goal is to clean Monday and Tuesday, and then Sunday I will put up my autumn decorations because I want to have the house tidy and have my autumn decorations up for when we get back because that'll be nice. And then we have like a bunch of other shit going on because we had tickets to things that we had to, one got rained out, so we'll be going to that on this night. The other one we had to change the date because it ended up being the day that my dad died, so we changed it to this day. I have hair appointments these 2 days. It's just like, it's going to be super chaotic for the next 2 weeks from today is when we're leaving. And the time between now and then is going to be very full and very chaotic. And I'm so glad we're able to go on our trip because this will help me, this will help my heart and my soul to be like in a place I love, right? So here's the kit this week. I think it looks really cute, actually. I didn't know if I was going to love it or not, but I'm really happy with how it is turning out. And so then we'll keep filling in as the week goes on. Yeah, so that's that. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to the crazy-ass cicadas in the backyard here. I appreciate all the support, and as always, if you are going through something similar or you're thinking you're going to go through something similar and you want to talk about it, I'm your dude. Like, just reach out. Don't feel weird about it. We can all talk about our grief. It's healthy to talk about our grief, and that's how we get through it. I think that's part of how I'm functioning right now, is because I've been open about it as much as I could, and that helped me prepare for it and be ready for it. And I miss my dad so much already. And little things like, it's never gonna not make me sad to take out only 3 dishes to make dinner here, you know? Or every time I see a dad joke that somebody shared and I want to share it with him, that stuff makes me break down right now. And not in a bad way. I feel really fortunate to have somebody that when they're gone I miss them this much, if that makes sense. But talking things through is really one of the ways that I am healing from this, so thank you for tuning in and watching this far in the video. So if you're new here, please subscribe. Like I said, I do talk, I'm not going to pretend I don't. I do talk a lot about mental health, and I do talk about grief a lot. And some gothy stuff, you know. I talk openly about death and things like that because I think we need to normalize it. So if you're interested in planning in those things, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, everybody, and especially this week, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will see you in my next video.